republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Excuse me. Next item.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here. Here. Here.
Here. Thank you. First item on the agenda tonight is public comment. We have public comment at the beginning and at the end of each meeting. So your first opportunity, come forward. If anybody has anything they'd like to tell us, come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and let us know what you have to say. The case more often than not. Nobody's running forward, so we'll go ahead and close public comment and come back for review and approval of the agenda. And if anybody has any conflicts of interest, now would be a great time to let us know about those. Something funky going on with it. So far, so good. It was the second time I did that. Did a little while ago, too, so.
Which one is that?
Anyway, we are at review and approval of the agenda, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and supported to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Consent calendar.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with in one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed therefrom and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be
That's not what we want.
We could share a mic. Yeah. Don't turn hers on.
Sure.
I don't think.
Is anybody particular microphone maybe that's acting up?
I think it's mine. Just don't know why. I think it's mine. I just don't know why.
Okay, continuing. If
Maybe
any
that
item is not
personality?
removed from the
That's
consent
you
calendar,
got it.
the action noted in parentheses on the agenda is approved by a single board action.
can't hear you,
adopting
Ann.
the consent calendar.
You're not
This evening, you have a very short consent calendar.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Minutes, March 25th, 2025 regular meeting, and the revised February 26th, 2025 joint meeting minutes. Recommend approval. Bills, general fund, $18,032.74. Recommend approval.
Thank you. Is there any items anybody on the board would like to have removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda? Any items staff would like to have removed and placed elsewhere? Anything the public would like to have removed and placed elsewhere? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we adopt the consent calendar.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and supported to adopt the consent calendar. And can we have a roll on that?
Augustinelli.
Yes.
Korn.
Yes.
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Lapp.
Yes.
L. McManus,
Yes.
McCumber,
Yes.
J. McManus.
Yes. All right. Correspondence. I don't see any correspondence tonight. So we'll move on to reports. The first one is the engineering construction report.
Do I need to be careful? Testing. Well, good evening, everyone. Jennifer Graham, Gordy Frazier, and probably at your desk, because I did get it in late, because a couple of us were at MTA last week. So I apologize for that. It is consistent with the normal reports that you guys see in your packet every month, and for me to go through just a few highlights. Water-related, as you guys are all aware, our discussions with the city have gone well, and verbally anyway at this moment, I mean, they're in a position to allocate an additional 1 million gallons to the township. And so with that understanding, taken the position working with staff that it's kind of allowed us the ability to start looking at new developments, new applications. Obviously, the outstanding existing 4 permits, those have been issued. So with that, I've continued to move ahead and get wrapped up the booster station at Cedar Run Tank with intentions to have that out for bid this fall. The McCray PRV, some of you that were on the board before, we had put that out for bid originally. Prices came in high. And sometimes when you wait, opportunities present themselves, and there's a parcel that is into the planning department for review, and we've had discussions with them because that provides a lot more ideal suited location for that PRV, and they've definitely been, thus far, very agreeable to have discussions related to providing us an easement, which will put us closer up on the hill and help a lot of the surrounding customers, including themselves, for that PRV. So we're able to start looking at that plan review. That's the, I think it's the Garfield property is what it's been coined before. It's got a new name to it. So we're working on that one, and twofold that will address hopefully the McCray PRV in that capacity. Something else that I did add to the meeting minutes, and Supervisor McManus and Manager Barchef have been aware of, is the master meter upgrades. That was a project, because we're also the DPW's engineer, helping them through projects, and that was a maintenance project. And because of discussions with the city, that has been amplified as far as a priority to get those new meters in place. The existing ones, some of them are 10 years old plus in age, and the new meters to be installed will allow the ability for us to, and the city, to read our water consumption on a real-time basis, instantaneous. So we've been working with DPW. We did solicit it project out for bid 2 times now, with a multitude of efforts, both by Kent Notstein and myself, and phone calls, reaching out, still no interest. So obviously a very desirable project. I say that facetiously. And so I think at this point, DPW staff have kind of had to just resolve with the fact that they're going to have to do the work themselves. Gordy Frazier's offered assistance because it is confined space to help where we can. But unfortunately, despite all of our efforts and people being busy, and due to the, as I noted, confined space concerns, I don't think many contractors are interested in a small project like that, despite our large amount of effort soliciting it out for bid. So I just wanted to make this board aware, and the city is also aware of that too. It's kind of our time that we have right now. Ridgeview Court water main / the road SAD, I believe Manager Barchef had opportunity to meet with some of the residents. Circling back, there's still interest despite the higher costs that came in from the road SAD. So I reached out to Elmer's just to kind of price check and inquire with them as to the validity of their prices when they had bid it last year, and waiting for them to respond on that, and I can provide feedback. Garfield Pump Station 1, some of you, and I think Supervisor McManus is aware, sitting on DPW, that's also a project that East Bay Acme are working on to upgrade that force main. There is an element of that force main that they're going to improve that does have some beneficial impact to us. So I've been reviewing those plans, because along with that force main replacement, our biggest pump station 1 on Barlow, discharges into that. And with that, there's going to be some timing. We don't have the luxury because of the station size, to have any downtime. So working with their engineers, their contractors, when they go through that process in DPW, to ensure that we don't have any service disruption. So, no, it's been working out well, working with a couple other engineers in your neighboring townships on that project. And so I've been going to meetings on your behalf, respect to that. Other noteworthy, the water sewer service for Olson's, again, that one's back on track, just because of having some access to additional water supply from the city. So we're beginning review of that. And also working with Olson's developer, hoping to get kind of a better master plan as far as long-term utility infrastructure, private roads, in addition to just water itself, and then what they're looking for sanitary service. Because that is projected to be Cherryland's new home, and I believe they're getting to be a little more aggressive on that now. And we need, working with, just talked to John about it a minute ago, is working with Olson's to get a better plan to depict that. Capital improvement project, working with staff on that, and I appreciate that opportunity to add points and information related to water and sewer and keep those on track and looking in the future. Stormwater ordinance, also working with staff and providing not only just organizational updates, but technical updates to address an antiquated ordinance from 20 years ago. So we hope to have that wrapped up this year and have just a better working document, because we also do all the stormwater reviews. So if we can make something a lot more user-friendly, for the applicants, but also for ourselves. It's good to be part of River East. Thank you. I know I wasn't at the meeting last month, and I appreciate you guys relaying my memo and hopefully hearing my frustration through that memo with our prefab bathroom. I know Derek has been living it too, and so I did receive the additional service, and I'm working with an architect, and we'll have a rendering and get that to you guys so you can kind of see. But I mean, ultimately, yes, it does incur some additional costs, but it also provides us the ability to get something built this year and something a little more customizable for that area. So I'm working ahead on that. I want to have that wrapped up in the next couple months so that we can get out for bid and under construction. Grand Traverse Commons Trail, I was at the Parks and Rec meeting last night.
Thank you for
And
coming.
review and update on that project. That one too has kind of presented some challenges just as far as some of the existing trail and to maintain universal accessibility. And so I was able to just kind of discuss through some of those parameters, and we're trying to just get some feedback from DNR as to what we can and can't do. So ultimately, depending on what comes out of discussions with them, I'll relay back to this board to give you guys a respective update. The trail on Barlow, South Airport, we did have a bid opening last week, and AJ's read low on that, so I will have at your next meeting a letter of recommendation to move ahead with them. And excited to also say that the prices were just under what we had provided you guys with our original construction budget. So excited for that too. Prices are still high, but I mean, they're manageable. So otherwise, I'm happy to entertain any questions this board has for me. Yes, sir.
Did anybody talk to, I think it's called Box Top?
Through Britain?
Yeah.
We did. I had discussion with them. The issue being with them is they don't provide year-round bathrooms. They don't have that level of insulation. They definitely fabricate seasonal ones, is what was relayed to me when I had talked to the rep over at Box Top. 'Cause they do build those a lot, and when, if you go down to Florida, they'll have those pop-up units and bars, and no, they're very cool. But when I had talked to them, and now this was a year ago.
Yeah, they do have a three-seater that's heated and air-conditioned.
Okay.
Mike Whitcop on his, what does he call the farms up there?
Oh, the corn maze
Yeah,
people. So it looks like a container?
yeah.
It's a
it
shipping
is.
container
It is a
is what they
container.
Or is that
repurpose.
what we want for our park? I mean, is that the look?
I
of
mean,
it?
I imagine they could probably accommodate any facade. I don't know if any of you guys have worked, because they're an extension of, or we're an extension of Britain. I mean, they'll do whatever you want. I mean, they're very accommodating. So they probably could do a facade on it. But last I knew, I didn't know that they did season, or year-round.
Yeah, I understand they do.
Okay.
They have them out there, so it's worth a shot.
No, I'll check with them. Thank you.
Are they local?
Through Britain.
Who's Brendan?
On Cass Road, Garfield Township.
There you go. It's worth checking out.
Thanks, Mr. Korn.
Thank you, Jennifer, for coming to the meeting last night. That was great.
All right. Oh,
Got some questions answered. and it
Oh,
was really
good.
Helpful.
yeah, no, they're a good group.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it. All right.
Thanks, Jennifer. All right, moving on. Our county commissioner, I think, had to cancel tonight, so move on to our sheriff's report.
Good evening, Roy Raska with the Sheriff Department. The stats for February included 95 traffic citations that were written. Sheriff's Office responded to 12 personal injury accidents and 83 property damage accidents. There was 9 OWI arrests made and 64 criminal arrests made for the month. If you don't know already, the faces of the community police officers is changing again. Luke Anderson was recently promoted to Detective Bureau, so he'll no longer be out in the township. So he'll be working with Detective Ritter, with the forensics, and on computers and phones and stuff like that. So we still have Deborah, who she decided to move to the 7 to 5 rotation. And then our new deputy that will be out here is, drawing a blank. Josh Hunter. Josh has been with our department a little over a year, and he worked in Peoria, Arizona for 6+ years. So Josh he'll pop right into Garfield and do a good job with us. He's a pretty active guy. And then Deputy Core, she's still out of West Senior High. I know she just recently put in for a Detective Bureau position also, so hopefully she gets that, but if not, I'm sure the school will welcome her back. And then Deputy Rosa was just recently off on maternity leave, but he's back. He was only gone for a few days. And Brad Kirkpatrick's still out there taking complaints for us. St. Croix will be working with Old Navy here in a couple days. And they're just doing a public safety event with the kids, and I think she'll be working with Katie Baratti, GT Metro. And then the Sarah Lee event, we'll have 4 or 5 deputies assigned to the Sarah Lee event this weekend. This will be the 3rd year they've done it. It's a good time, the kids enjoy it. They said it's going to be probably the best they've had since they've been doing this. 2 CPOs doing a SCAM presentation in the village of Bay Ridge next week. And then we've been working at the Sheriff Department to change TASER platforms. We just recently went to a TASER 10 platform, which it's a lot different than what we've carried for the last 20+ years. So that's new. And then myself and 2 of the other CPOs just met with Northwest Michigan Works and Next Level, which was the old Pete's place, and we got a chance to talk with some of the counselors in there, and we're going to try to develop some type of relationship with the kids that are living there. Hopefully that works out. They're having issues with the kids not being able to go through driver's training, so they were trying to think that maybe we could donate our time to help the kids develop skills behind the wheel, which we'll see how that works out, but never really gave it a lot of thought. Those kids in there don't have parents, so who's going to teach them how to drive? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we can help them. I don't know. We'll try. And then right now the OHSP grant that we have, the Highway Safety Patrol that they're doing, is focused just on distracted driving. So if you see extra patrol out right now, probably for the next month, they're just working on distracted drivers. So, do you have any questions?
Thanks, Roy.
Great.
Appreciate it. Okay, GT Metro Fire. Chief?
Good evening, Paul Mackin, Grand Traverse Metro Fire. Before you have the Incident reports, starting page 1 with the Garfield Metro NFIRS incident reports for March of 2025. Just starting out at the top, our medical assist and emergency medical services other, still kind of leading, the categories there. The top 3 categories between those two that I mentioned, dispatch, canceled, and route. Of the 415 calls within the township, over 350 there are represented in the top 3 categories there. So totaled for those categories, as I mentioned, 415 for the township as opposed to the 562 for Metro. As you can see, obviously, once we get into those other categories, I'll come back to building fire. We had 2, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get done with the statistics here. Moving on to the Garfield and Metro side-by-side for EMS complaints, 2025, or for March of 25. Again, falls usually leading that category. 75 within the township as opposed to 101 within Metro. Followed up by some of our common medical complaints, difficulty breathing, some other unknown problems, people down, cardiac issues, etc. Total emergency medical incidents that I have for the township, 370 as opposed to 488 for the authority. Page 3 are pie charts. Top pie graph indicating our incidents broken down by township and out of area. Garfield Township coming in at 74% of the calls. East Bay Township, 18% of the calls. Acme Township, 7% of the calls. And then we just have a percent of 6 calls that were outside the area assisting other agencies. Our breakdown by stations for the month. Total of those calls, 562. Station 1 was 28% of the call with 155 incidents. Station 8, 8% of the calls with 45 incidents. Station 9, 9% of the calls with 53 incidents. Station 11, with the largest majority of the calls, 28% at 157 calls, and then Station 12 with 26%, representing 146 calls. Aside from the statistics and the incidents, on March 27th, I'm sure you're all aware, we responded at 10:55 to the building fire at 4141 Cedar Run Road at the Lautner Irrigation Building. I'm sure you've got news reports on that. The building, the reports were that we had some de-icing activities going on, and crews arrived on the scene, were met with, a significant amount of smoke, some visible smoke and fire within the building. We were assisted by a total of 7 other departments, including Long Lake, Peninsula, City Fire, etc. There was an elevated alarm for that. Took us about 90 minutes to extinguish that fire. We were able to get a water supply, a hydrant for that, after about 1,000 feet of 5-inch hose that was supplied. But again, a positive water supply. We had about 27 firefighters working on scene. Some challenges that building represented essentially was the access to the building construction itself. It was a primary block style, ordinary style constructed building, looked similar to a pole barn, but it wasn't. And then a lean-to type shed that was attached on the side is where the fire actually started from that exterior fire and that de-icing activity. The other complications that we had was because that building had a heavy amount of insulation in it, a lot of spray foam insulation within the building, and then a lot of foam board within it. So that in itself presented some challenges because that really contributed to the fire spread. Once that foam was heated up and ignited with the torch, it just ran up vertically, ran across the ceiling, and then just continued to get into some void spaces, which came back to that access. We were able to get water on the fire quickly, but once it gets into those foams or those void spaces, and you have that foam fuel load in there, it becomes a little bit more challenging to extinguish. So there's a lot of overhaul or opening up of void spaces to kind of get access and fully extinguish that fire. But you know, all said, fire went fairly smooth. Got the fire extinguished. Nobody got hurt. The investigation confirmed what we, the reports on initially, that there was some de-icing activities. They were trying to thaw the ground where a drain tile was, so they can get some of the water to kind of flow through that drain tile. So they're using a propane torch, and just too close to the building, we're able to heat it up and get into that foam insulation. So unintentional, unfortunate, but again, we're fortunate that nobody got hurt, and we appreciate the assistance we got from our neighboring departments. Moving on, again, as the Sheriff had mentioned, we're going to be attending the Sarah Lee Cares event this Saturday from noon to 4. We're going to have personnel on scene performing a live rope rescue demonstration from our ladder truck. We'll also have members there highlighting our hazmat equipment with our trailer. And of course, we'll have our fire and life safety educator there providing information and some activities. As I mentioned, we're looking forward to the fact that it's actually going to be warm this year, because I know it's been pretty cold the last few years for that. A couple other highlights. We have had correspondence with our insurance services organization, our field rep, and they will be conducting our public protection classification survey later this summer. We've already started preparations and compiling our requested pre-survey information and get that to them. So that's something we were anticipating. We'll be getting that completed this summer. We also received a pretty generous donation. I reported at our last board meeting of over $10,000 towards the purchase of a public safety drone. We did contribute an additional $5,000 from our equipment budget to purchase that, so we're excited to finally get that piece of equipment. It's going to be utilized for search and rescue and some pre-fire planning and fire operations. So that's some good news for that. Additionally, we did present our annual plan to our board, which kind of identified our goals and actions for the remainder of the year. Within that is the ISO survey, some succession planning for our organization for some anticipated retirements, contract negotiations, budget preparation, a couple retooling of policies and procedures. So that does complete my report for this evening. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the chief?
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
All right, move on to MMR.
Gotta bring up my notes. Hi, Amy Fairchild, Operations Manager with Northwest Division of MMR. The report you have in front of you, we're not waiting for the summer to increase our run volume. We're just going to keep it going all through the winter. We're already going up quite a bit. March, we had 397 medical calls in Garfield Township alone. For our response area up here in the Grand Traverse area, we were at 800. And then throwing about 400 on transfers. So we kept them out of trouble this last month. Unfortunately, they were still in my office a lot, but we kept them out of trouble. Most common is falls. We are working with a couple different agencies to try and do some fall prevention, see if we can identify some patterns as to why people are falling. For whatever reason, they love those little scattered area rugs. They get caught up in the walkers, they get caught up in the oxygen tubing, things like that. So we're trying to help educate, maybe bring down some of those common falls or the consistent falls. Slow going, but we're trying to see if we can't help. Council on Aging, Pace North have both been very helpful in working with us and able to send in therapists to kind of help troubleshoot that as well. So hopefully we can keep these guys a little bit safer at home. We did want to point out we had 2 cardiac arrests in Garfield Township that with the assist of Metro and the Sheriff's Department, these 2 individuals walked out of the hospital a couple days later completely fine. And that's thanks to a lot of hard work by all of our crews together. We don't get to celebrate those very often, so it was very exciting for us to have 2 in the month of March. Couple updates, we will be at Sara Lee as well. When I told them it'd be in the 60s, all of a sudden I had all sorts of volunteers willing to go, so they're excited to be there. We have all sorts of fun stuff to hand out for the kids. If you're gonna be there, it's okay, we'll share the toys with you guys as well, little rubber duckies and all sorts of fun stuff. We were able to bring on 10 new hires over the last 6 weeks. All but one are completed with their training. The 10th one starts next week. She was a little bit delayed due to quitting her other job first. So I am cautiously, optimistically going to say that we are fully staffed. But I am not saying that very loud, and you guys can't say I said it. So hopefully we can keep this going, and now we can start building and expanding more. Our new building on Park Drive, they're doing the final inspections this week. So crossing fingers and toes, but hopefully we'll be moving in about 2 weeks here, inspection dependent. We're excited to have the elbow room and to be able to expand and keep growing there. We have an EMT class that is about 6 weeks left of their class. There's 10 people in there. They're doing fantastic. 8 of them have committed to working for us. We're sponsoring them through the class. The other 4, we're working on them. We'll see if we can keep them around as well. And with that education side, we're bringing on an accelerated paramedic class. Typically, a paramedic class is a 16-month class, 2 days a week. This one is going to be a 10-month class, 44 weeks, 3 days a week, plus clinical time, which is time on the ambulance or in the hospital. This will start May 12th. We're accepting 12 individuals into it. It is open to the area, along with our employees as well. Very excited for this. If this is a successful model, a successful program, we're going to continue this. We're trialing one up here and one in Lansing. And we'll see what we can do with this. I believe that is all I have for you guys. I do appreciate your understanding when I had to miss the last couple due to my father-in-law, but we are back on track. Is there any questions I can answer for you?
Before you leave, and while Chief is still here, I would like to thank you both. Okay, unfortunately, you had a serious situation in the family last Wednesday, and my mother took a bad fall, and nothing but compliments on the response time and professionalism and of both Metro and MMR getting her to the hospital. So, fortunately, she wasn't far from 12, but sister said it was seemed like she just made the call, and you were both on the scene. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Hopefully she's doing better.
If you don't mind me indulging, so.
I do apologize. I'm going to leave now and head over to Acme because they're having their meeting as well, but I do appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Planning Department.
Good evening, John Syke, Planning Director. You have our monthly Planning Department report in your packet. Just want to highlight a few things that are on the agenda for tomorrow. Planning Commission will be meeting to hold a public hearing for the Gauthier site multifamily development, which is on 31 just south of Cracker Barrel there, that's proposing a 149-unit multifamily apartment complex. So that's a special use permit, and from public hearing, then it'll move to findings in fact later, probably in May. We also have a introduction for a rezoning on Hammond. That's on the north side of Hammond between Traverse Field and Town Line. And that's actually a request to move from a conditional CG commercial to agriculture. So the property owners there want to preserve the property and further restrict development. So they're looking to downzone that property. So that'll be an introduction for the Planning Commission tomorrow evening. Farther ahead, we did receive, for your information, application for High Tops Nightclub and Sports Bar. This is now being proposed at the former Yonkers store in the Cherryland Center. So there was a approval for a site plan a few months ago for the Two Brothers Dog Park Cafe, which is about a quarter of that building, kind of on the northwest corner. This is for the remainder of that. This will be a little bit more downsized to what they originally were proposing earlier. This is still a nightclub of capacity around 1,300, and then a sports bar restaurant with a capacity for about 400. So it we reuse the remainder of that Yonkers store as it's being proposed. So this is a application that will be introduced to the Planning Commission at their May 14th meeting. So that's all I have right at the moment.
On the high tops, the issue before was that it opened up to the back where there are residences. If they're using Yonkers, are they using the Yonkers traditional entryway, or?
They'll be using both of them, but primarily the front one, that, you know, there's the courtyard there that will open up to that, and they'll run a corridor through the middle of that building towards the back. Talking with the applicant, they're looking at some soundproofing measures. One thing that will help is that there will be several smaller rooms towards the back end of that building, so that offers additional barrier for any potential noise. Also looking at the ability to possibly restrict access to that, from that back door after maybe a certain time period in the evening or whatever. So there's things that they're looking to keep people more oriented, at least for visitors there, to the front end.
Thanks.
Any other questions for John? Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right, I see our Parks and Rec report in our packet. You going to cover that?
Just real briefly, so there's a report in the packet, and then the big thing that's going on right now is the River East playground structure. That was delivered, proposed to be installed at the end of this month or first of next. So we're working with Gordy Frazier and staking the parking lot where the walking trail will be. We just want to make sure when this is built and put in place, we don't regret where we placed it. So, so her staff is going to be out shortly to do the staking part, and then they're going to build it.
All right. Thanks, Chris. All right, clerk's report.
I've submitted the clerk's report in writing. We finishing up the audit, just wrapping some things up with the auditors, and just we read MTA last week and a lot of good classes and good time. So all that's going on in our office.
All right, any questions for the clerk? All right, move on to the township manager's report.
I just want to update everybody on our current assessments that we have going on, assessment districts. Ridgeview Court, we're waiting on a updated bid from Elmer's to do the paving there. And as soon as that is received, we can update a resolution to bring back to this board for consideration. And at that time, we'd hold another public hearing. And that's all dependent on how quickly Elmer's gives us the quote back. If we get it back tomorrow, we probably have the public hearing and that resolution for our next meeting. So I know the neighbors who we spoke to are motivated to get this project done. And the water permit, there's a water project going on along with it. That was held up, you know, by the city telling Eagle not to approve it. And, you know, that along with some other permits, that was approved just recently. So the project can move forward with the water and the road. There also is a special assessment district set up at Logan's on the south side. There were some differences in the estimate from the road commission for the cost, and then also a estimate that the businesses there obtained from Elmer's. So we're kind of relying on the road commission to reassess their estimate and give us a good figure that we can use to move forward with the public hearing and approving of a resolution. And then also Silver Lake, the milfoil treatment, that district is expired. It has to be reestablished. Right now is the time that we would do that with help from the assessor's office. We traditionally have spent $15,000 a year to treat that. 2023 was really high. It was about $30,000. And the company that is contracted to oversee all that treatment is recommending $30,000 a year that we budget for that for the next 5 years. So when we create this new special assessment district, we just have to make sure that it's high enough to recover enough money to take care of the treatment. So we'll do that in coordination with the Silver Lake Improvement Association and Blair Township. So that will be forthcoming fairly soon. MDOT rail lease agreements, we talked about this a while back. I have just wrapped up reviewing those and receiving them from MDOT. They are, and I also checked into easements. And just the policies at MDOT do not allow easements. The lease is the route that they go. We would have to have MDOT change their policies, which that's an avenue that we certainly can explore, and hopefully in the end, maybe affect change that all municipalities who have utilities running through these areas that, maybe we pay $1 a year. So that's gonna be my effort, whether we're successful or not, time will tell. And that takes a long time, as you know, working through the legislature and big government like that. So that is what I'm gonna work on, but I'm going to bring back to this board next week, hopefully, the leases, the proposed leases, and just looking for support that the supervisor sign them and we move forward. And there'll be a 5-year lease. The last ones were 20 years. So I can understand that they probably want to keep them shorter, so that way if the property value goes up, they can get more money. That's why I think the shorter term. So,
Yeah, in the Silver Lake Special Assessment District, I'm just wondering if the board would have any interest in participating in that as a township. Right now, the people that live around the lake are paying for the milfoil remediation. Now it's getting more expensive, and everybody uses, lots of people that live in Garfield Township and throughout the county use Silver Lake. So I'm just opening up for a thought. I think it's not just those people that use it. And it'd be really nice if they could clean up the boat launch and do all of those things, but that's an Eagle issue, DNR issue. So it's got to be paid for. And is it fair to just have the people that live there pay for it? It's a question to think about.
at an MTA lunch not too long ago, there was a DNR representative there about grants for treating invasive species. And I reached out to the point of contact. It didn't sound like our situation at Silver Lake would qualify. But then again, that was the association funding it through a special assessment. I don't know if us as a governmental entity, it would be different. That's certain I can check into, to your point that you just made.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the percentage is of people who don't live on the lake who use the lake, but I used to live on the lake, and a lot of people that don't live on the lake use that lake, so. And it's, you know, you take the boat from Arbutus Lake with milfoil on it and then put it into Silver Lake, well then you got that there. Or you take the boat from the bay or any place else too. So, I'm not saying we should pay it all, but maybe some recognition that we know that other people use it besides just those people that live there and ought to help pay for it.
I will reach out to Supervisor Blonshine and run that by her as well. And then I feel like we need to have a discussion on this prior to the special assessment being established, so we know if that needs to be less, if we're gonna contribute.
Anybody has interest?
Yeah. Okay.
Chris, I think this year that they had enough funding, so for 2025, it's already paid for, correct? So this wouldn't be until 2026.
It'll take time.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, this year they had enough already in the special assessment fund to pay for this year's treatment, so. I'd be curious to know if they've had, this has been a 20-year.
No, at least.
It'll never end.
No, I understand that. I just wonder if they successfully kept it at bay. Is it working? And, I mean, I haven't heard a lot about it, so.
Last time I checked into it, it was, but that was 2 years ago.
Right,
when I moved out
right.
there.
Okay.
According to the contractor, it's bad one year and much better the another year. It's cyclical, so it changes from year to year, is from what they told me. Bringing this to your attention because I just learned about this. About a year and some change ago, the board approved cost sharing for signal upgrades at, and I was incorrect in the notes that I provided you, it's 31 South and Lowe's Marketplace Circle in Myers, not South Airport. So apologize for that. And the estimate was $60K to $80K per intersection. Painting, we talked to not too long ago, roughly $2,000 per pole. And I just got a project contract from MDOT that totaled $251,800. So when I talked to the MDOT manager today, I asked him, why the cost increase? Wages, labor, materials, the economy, inflation. I wasn't able to get a spreadsheet to break it all down, which is what I'll work on between today and when I bring a resolution to you and that contract, so you can have greater detail. But I just wanted you to be aware of this, because originally we've been supporting this all along. So if we choose not to follow through with it, it basically could delay those signals being upgraded until next year. He said that the project would have to basically be rebid because they bid it out based on us telling them that we wanted a cost share. So, so the inaction would delay it, and then in the end, you would get the wire 4-box style that you see at Cedar Run and North Long today. So that would be your signal.
How many intersections are there? 3 or?
There's two.
Two.
In Garfield, it's a $2 million overall project. They're doing Gray Road and 72. We chose not to upgrade that. They're just gonna do the wire. And then also, I think, in the city was, 2 intersections and then the 2 in our township. The 2 at 31 and Meyer and 31 and Lowe's were the ones that we wanted to upgrade.
I'd like to, if you can, get the detail for when you bring things back. I mean, it was a significant, Chris talked to me about this earlier. I mean, our worst case scenario 2 years ago was 176,000. I went from 176 to 251. Okay. So, it's a lot, so, if we can somehow get a little more detail, and then we have some time to decide what we want to do with that, so. You just got that like today, didn't you?
I think it was like Friday.
Right, yeah.
Yes, so I'd like to bring to you the detailed cost breakdown and the resolution and the project contract, and either decide yes or no, and, kind of be done with that. Website update, we're gonna score the touchdown here really quick. We're probably at the 1 yard line now. I think at the 5 yard line, when I brought it up the other day, it wasn't too accurate. But at this point, a ton of work went into it. We're getting staff department feedback to the committee, and then our next meeting, or between our next meeting and next week, we're gonna have a committee meeting. Next meeting, we'll do a display of what the site looks like to the board, and then the committee would like board feedback on anything you'd like to see changed, with a goal to go live by the end of the month. So a lot of work's gone into it. I think one of the biggest lifts is converting our documents to like ADA compliance. And that doesn't have to happen for like another year, but this company is getting us prepared for it. She told me at MTA that it's possible that the current administration may change that requirement, that you may not have to do that because it's very difficult for businesses to comply with that regulation. But in any case, we're going to be prepared no matter what, because that's the direction we're going. But it does take time because we have to take those documents, have them OCR read, I believe, for the compliance. So anyways, I just kind of want to give you an update for that. You'll get to see it here in a few weeks. So, I received an email from Christine Minervini, who is, I think, going to be the president of Rotary really quick.
July.
What's that?
July.
July, okay. She is trying to coordinate an effort between the Northwest Michigan Coalition to End Homelessness, the county, and the city to bring community leaders together to talk about the homelessness issue and how do they solve it. So they're trying to bring everybody together to form a task force that'll meet over the next 4 months, 4 meetings, just having conversation about how do we solve this. And, I feel like from my seat is that I think it's valuable to represent the township there and our position on this issue. What is it that we can contribute towards it? But I feel like if we're not there, I just don't want to regret it later And I think that whether it's myself or somebody else, we can clearly explain to them our stance on the issue. So I guess I'm just looking, is there any opposition to us participating in that?
Have
No.
a talk.
Not at all.
What organizations are part of that?
The Coalition to End Homelessness, Rotary, the county, and the city. And basically was told that they're just trying to pull in a bunch of other community organizations, community leaders, to give some input and to talk about the issue, how can we solve it, get good minds together.
We've been to these meetings before.
Yeah.
We talked about the idea of, instead of throwing money at the problem continuously, setting realistic expectations. At a city meeting a little while ago, the homeless people were in the front protesting because they were making them clean up their campgrounds.
Yep.
Which is, they have a right to do whatever they want. It's a, you can tell them, you know, what we've done and that how much we have done. But there's a group of people who just thinks all we have to do is get more money and we can fix it. So it's I've been to the meetings, and when you tell them what you believe, you get canceled. Good luck.
Well, yeah. To your point, I think I think we're better off to have a representative there than not. You know, so as far as your question about being there, I think it's a good idea to be
Yep.
there.
Absolutely.
At least be in the know on what they're thinking. So,
And obviously we'll report to the board progress and
Yeah.
conversations as we have meetings.
I
Chloe?
just want to make a comment that I think it's good for us to be involved, not just to be part of the discussion, but to be part of the solution.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a lot of low income in this township. We're actually, have a lot of poverty in Garfield Township. So not just to be part of the conversation, but to be part of the solution is what I would like. I just want to make that comment. Coming from me, that's my perspective on it.
Okay, last item, I met with Greg Bird, the Sheriff Department, Chief Mackin today about the emergency management program at the county. And I'd brought this up in the past that we have to review our plan to participate in the county's program. And it sounds like there's been no real significant legislative changes that require us to change that plan. So it's pretty much change the date, update the contact information. We can change the amount that we put into a contingency fund should there be an emergency, that we have that, ready to use. Right now, we have 10,000. We can change that. Also, one other little difference is that in an emergency, the old law allowed you to get 100,000 based on our population reimbursed. Now it can be up to 500,000 if the money's available there and they approve that. So that's kind of the only changes that I'd learned. Also, the supervisor can declare emergency. In the absence of the supervisor, it can be the clerk. The emergency manager suggested that the three of us sit down and talk about if I should take on any roles after that declaration is made. We can put that in the plan. So at some point in the very near future, I'd like to have that conversation. The goal would be to get this in front of you in a resolution, like a meeting in May. So that way that can get taken care of.
Yeah.
And that is all I have.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, supervisor report. A few points. I know some of you did, and thank you. If you have any additional comments about the county prosperity plan, please get them to Chris. There's a meeting scheduled for next week on the 15th, where several township supervisors, along with the county, are going to get together, and we have an opportunity to vet our comments about the plan. I know several of you did, but if you have anything additional you'd like to input, Chris and I are going to attend that meeting on the 15th and if any of you would want to go, I'm sure you're welcome to go. It's at Gilbert Lodge on the 15th. I think 3 p.m., I believe, is the time on that. So that's set up. We're working on the scheduling with the city right now. I'm sure we'll include Jennifer in that, where as we work toward the likelihood that when we finalize things with the commons and we take that pressure district over, what are we going to take over? There's parts of it obviously we need and want, and parts of it we don't want. So we're going to clarify that and have meetings with the city about that in the near future. The MTA last week was my first MTA. Very informative, a lot of really informative class. I learned a lot. So I know that Chloe and I attended a class, and it had to do with your capital improvement plans. And Jennifer's talked a lot about capital improvement, and we were always talking water, sewer a lot. But it really should involve more than that. So I think as we work toward a capital improvement plan, it might be broader to include, roads, parks, buildings, other things within our scope. So, and obviously, it'd be water and sewer would be part of that. But I think it's important because one of the classes was about road funding, and I think road funding is going to be a hot button as we go forward, as things go forward, and certain grants, certain funding mechanisms for road require that you have a capital improvement plan in place to even qualify for that funding. So I think that we need to elevate that CIP process, broader than just water and sewer, and maybe we start working toward that. We just late this afternoon got an email from the city with the actual amended water contract, officially making it 6 million gallon a day instead of 5, awaiting signatures. We're going to send that to Mark Middleton, get that vetted. Basically, they just took the existing agreement and changed it from 5 to 6. So it's the exact same agreement we had, just the updated. We just want to verify that, sign it, and make that official, and keep moving forward on the water issues. I think that's all I had.
Joe, are you changing the length of time, or we still have 3
No,
years at 6?
Yeah, we just changed the existing contract to be 6 million, and it still has a sunset for 3 years. We still have to work toward a new contract, and other things as well. Obviously, when we get started on that conversation, we have to look at the overall capacity and future needs. That'll be a big part of that. Yeah. Could be part of that capital improvement plan we were talking about too, obviously. So, but yeah. All right, any questions for me? All right, well, let's move on. Unfinished business, discussion of Cherryland Center redevelopment project area. Chris?
The ownership at Cherryland Center has approached us asking if the board would consider that a redevelopment project area. And what that will do is if you make that designation, it'll allow them to obtain another quota liquor license as long as there's $1 million of investment for every 1,000 people in our township. So the 2020 census was 19,499. And so basically they would have to have that much investment in the millions of dollars through a 3-year period. So May 31st is of 25. If this isn't approved by then, they're going to lose a lot of the investment funds that occurred within that 3-year window. So today, Dr. Walls with K1 Speed, I'd ask him to come today and talk to the board and let you know why is it that they would want this here, how is it valuable to them. We are still working with him and the other developers in the area as far as how much they've spent or invested, because we are at $17,900,000, so we're just shy of that 19 million mark. Our assessor believes that once the other figures come in from the curling club, the Philharmonic, it will put them over that threshold. So that should be fine. My goal is to come back to a future meeting once we get these numbers, along with a resolution, a designated area, which we talked at a prior meeting about keeping it the boundaries of the Cherryland Center. You know, our planner may be able to explain this better than me. I know Trustee Augustinelli wondered if we should expand that. I think it actually makes it more difficult the bigger you make it. If we were to expand it to South Airport today, the Cherryland Center would not be able to accomplish what we're trying to do right now, because you need greater investment. Am I correct in saying that? Yeah. And right now, we don't believe we have the investment in the expanded area. So that would be counterproductive to what is trying to be accomplished today. That doesn't mean that you can't change things down the road with a corridor improvement authority, you know, TIFs, brownfields, other, you know, solutions to do it. But right now, this is the best way found to accomplish what is it they're looking for. Also, additional investment beyond this being established. And again, we're trying to figure out what that dollar amount is. We believe it's relatively low, like $250,000. So if there's that amount of investment moving forward, that opens up another quota liquor license. So they can continue to get quotas for other businesses that may need them who come into that area. So I think it's a real positive, and you know, I want to let Dr. Walls speak on behalf of the developers.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, board, for good evening. So I'm not a big public speaker, so I'll just kind of ramble on here. But so I'm Christopher Walls. I'm a cardiologist and a businessman, and I opened K1 Speed. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's a indoor go-kart park. And I have children, and originally when I opened it up, it wasn't, my idea was, well, why don't we have something in Traverse City that's not about drinking? But we've been in business now for 8 months, and we've lost a lot of business because we don't have a liquor license. There are over 100 K1 Speeds in the U.S. There's one in Oxford, Michigan. The Oxford store has been open 10 years, and they have a liquor license. And you're probably wondering, why do I want people to drink and drive? But the way it typically works is that people have a birthday party or bachelor party or bachelorette party or a company party, and they come in and they race go-karts. And then after they finish racing, they have pizza and they want beer, or beer and nachos, or beer and hamburgers. And so presently we're not able to do that because we don't have a liquor license. We are employing a lot of people here in town. We have 6 full-time employees, 2 full-time managers, 2 full-time mechanics, 2 full-time shift supervisors. We have 12 part-time employees during the off-season. We expect that to expand to 20. So we run between 25 and 30 employees. Right now, our 2-week payroll is $30,000, so that's $60,000 that we're paying people every month. So it's a very busy go-kart park. And we want to get this liquor license so we can follow the standard franchise model of serving beer and wine to customers. I talked with Amy DeHaan, and she came up with this spreadsheet, and we've come up with a number almost 18,000. And I got an email back from Kevin Byrne, and he says, well, there's $5 million that the curling club has invested that's not in this spreadsheet. So already 18 plus 5 million, we're at $23 million of investment. We've invested ourselves $8 million in K1 Speed. So we hope to get this. High Tops has a liquor license. A lot of the businesses, the 3 coffee shops in the Cherryland Center, they don't need liquor licenses. The curling club, Kevin Byrne, he supports us in getting a liquor license because they have a liquor license because they're a nonprofit and they're able to have something called like a club liquor license, and they don't want, so we're not competing with anyone else to get this liquor license if we're able to get the redevelopment license. But we're looking forward to that, and we think it'll help expand our business and keep us employing people here in Traverse City. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, Chris did a pretty good job of explaining it, I think, at last meeting or one before that. So I think we're just waiting for the numbers to roll in to proceed. So
I just got that email from Kevin Byrne, And he says that there's $5 million that they spent in the curling club that needs to go on the spreadsheet. So that puts us at $23 million.
One question. How many more liquor licenses does this open up as a redevelopment zone?
So I would have to double check. I don't know if, if we have 25 million, if that gets you one and then there's 250,000 above that, or if every 250 above this 19,499 opens the door for additional. That's just one part we haven't sorted out yet.
Okay. So what are the other benefits to you of having it being designated as a redevelopment zone? Any?
Well, it makes it more attractive for other people to invest in the area. There's a sort of a synergy that we're trying to get going there in the Cherryland Mall with the curling club. We want family entertainment, and so if we're able to attract more people, the businesses will grow and thrive. And we're becoming a important employer here in Traverse City.
Chloe? Yeah.
Well, that was kind of my question, I guess more for Chris, but I don't think they're working.
They are now.
Oh, anyways, sorry. More for Chris, but I think we asked this last time, and it's kind of similar to Lori's question, but what are the other benefits to the business? Like by designating, is it just liquor license increase? That's it?
From what we could find out, yes.
Okay.
Because this
So you
is
don't get like a tax break or like?
No, this is a tool under a quota liquor license. It's just for liquor license purposes. You'd have to do like a DDA or something like that.
Right, okay.
To capture money for other purposes.
Okay.
This is purely liquor license.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
All right, so
I'll continue to work with Dr. Walls and the other property owners, get the financials updated, get a affidavit is one of the things, resolution and the project area back to you for final decision.
because there's a deadline. We don't want those, there's some pretty significant investments that are going to fall off at the end of May. So we want to get this done before those fall off. So, all right. Thanks, Chris.
Perfect.
Okay.
One more thing on yours, don't you?
Hmm?
Didn't you have one more thing? Sorry.
Oh, no, we're beyond his report. We're under unfinished business now. All right, next item under unfinished business, tongue twister there, discussion on Potter Road repair cost sharing with Grand Traverse County Road Commission. Either one of us can probably talk to this. I'll go ahead and start. Chris and I met with the Road Commission yesterday. Following our last meeting, we had a lot of questions. You remember Nicole was here and the project was thrown out at about $500,000 to redo Potter Road. If anybody's traveled there, you know how desperate that needs to be fixed. We met with the Road Commission yesterday, and there's really two plans that they're throwing out. One is, I'd hate to use the term Band-Aid, but a Band-Aid where they'd crush, they'd lime it, do a triple chip on it, and it would improve. Basically, it would turn it back to gravel and then tar and chip over it after a lime application. And so we ask, realistically, how long would that last? And a 2 to 4 year window is kind of what they threw out. That it would probably it's definitely a temporary fix, and the cost to do that was right around $144,000, and there would still be a cost share, so it'd be a 50% cost share. So but they've got nothing's been bid, so nothing's set in stone. But they are estimating a 20-year fix on the road, which is crushing it the same way, creating a base, then paving it. Is right around $267,000 plus a contingency, so call it $300,000. So the estimate came from $500 down to $300. So county has half, leaves half. So our cost share would be $75,000 to fix Potter Road. There's still the Blair piece. The county would have to work with Blair on revisiting that or coming up with some sort of a funding mechanism for them to pay their share somehow, some way, but that's between Blair and the Road Commission. So, we may be bringing something back to the board soon. I think, Chloe made a good comment at the last meeting that, look, the roads are, this is the first of probably a few. There's some other ones out there, but this road definitely needs to get fixed, and they thought it could get done this year if we moved on it. So, We just had those discussions yesterday.
How old is that road? It just doesn't seem to me like it was that long ago.
Well, that road was done in sections, if you remember. I mean, that from the roundabout back to where Todd's house, okay, is probably the oldest section. From where Todd's house is back to the west further, that was where it was filled, and that part's okay, I think, where it was filled 20 years ago. I think that part of the road's okay, but it's the oldest part, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you how old it is, but it's...
In my mind, it was like 10 years or,
No,
you
no.
know, some.
Molly,
some
I
of
hate
the-
to tell you this, but it's been longer than
It's
that.
been a while.
So, no, it's been a while. It's unfortunate it didn't get done when the roundabout went in, quite frankly, because it had to be
Right.
in need then. You know, they had the equipment there, the people there.
But now, you take your life in your hands.
Oh,
on it.
it's unbelievably bad. You guys probably avoid that road, don't you, with the fire trucks? I would hope so. So more to come, but we did have a good discussion. We discussed a ton of things with the road commission yesterday, but we did, got a little better handle on what we're dealing. So I think we're going to revisit with Blair and come back with you hopefully soon on a resolution. Didn't mean to take over, Chris, but I guess it's anything else in that?
No, I think you summed it up pretty good. I think at this point, it's just the road commission getting with Blair to figure out how they want to, participate, and then us coming back to the board here, letting them know that, and what do we want to do.
Yep. Sounds good.
Didn't we discuss last time we had some money in reserve with the road commission, and you were gonna look into where that money is and how it's allocated?
Yeah, we got a little better understanding of that, and there's a pot of money the road commission gets, about $500,000 every year, and it's allocated some to each township. Quite frankly, part of the discussion we had with the road commission yesterday was encouraging in a way. If we that it's like Denise's road, there a lot of the town, because it requires a 50% cost share. A lot of the townships don't take advantage of that money. So there's a pot of money sitting there that many of the townships don't utilize. And so even though we might only be allocated so much, we come up with projects, they'll do them. But, they're usually funded through special assessment districts or other ways. We can try some of these, other grants and things too. But, it was encouraging almost in a way, but that there is some road money out there, but it's subdivisions and stuff would have to pony up the other half. So, so we may look at more of that if we have opportunities for roads. We just kind of like they're doing it to Denise's road and that. But this Potter is a really a borderline. It's a border road between two townships. It's a pretty major road. New roundabout. It got used as a detour, got used for heavy equipment when the road construction was done, and it just got destroyed, so.
Exactly what happened there.
Yeah, same as yours.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right.
Good.
So that's where we're at on that. On a new business, in your packet is a consideration of resolution 2025-07-T, supporting myself as an application for the Par Plan Board. So you have that in your packet.
I think the supervisor would make a great representative for the power plan. So I would make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-07-T.
Support.
Motion made and supported to approve resolution 2025-07-T. Putting my name in a hat for the power plant representative up here. Any further discussion on that motion?
Just
Roll
a
call.
question.
Do you have a
how
roll
do
call on
they-
that, Ann?
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
I just had a question. So how does the person get picked? Do they get voted on?
It's an
Could we
election.
vote or
I think that,
votes for the?
I believe all the members of Par Plan, don't they? Laney, I read that.
But like, would we individually get to go vote, or do you, as a board, vote for somebody? You don't know probably, but,
I don't know.
Find out.
okay. That was my only question.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I need to, then I need to go out and, get votes.
Yeah, you
so
go
that-
campaign.
It's a campaign.
Campaign for it. No, I'm not sure if it's municipalities. I do know there is a vote of some sort out there. I'm just not sure how it comes
Right.
down.
Okay.
So, Or maybe it's a board of directors votes, I'm not sure, so. All right.
Need a roll call.
And I think that part of that requested a nomination was, did you, somebody needed to nominate me for that?
Got it.
You got that, okay.
We need a roll call vote on that.
Yeah. Ann, roll call on that?
Corn.
Yes.
Schmuckel.
Yes.
L. McManus.
Yes.
Lapp.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
And Augustinelli.
Yes.
Oh, and Jay McManus.
Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, new item, new business, item B, discussion on hiring a township assessor. Who's handling this one?
Go ahead,
I
Chris.
can take it. So after our last meeting on this topic, our assessor submitted her resignation. Her last day will be May 8th. So as a result of that, the Personnel Committee convened together to start the search for a replacement. Our former assessor gave us the name of two individuals to discuss with them potentially replacing her. One of those individuals was from the Grand Rapids area, and another, Polly Cairns, who was in the audience, was that other individual, and she lives locally. So I conducted a phone interview with the gentleman from downstate, and found that his level of commitment isn't what the Personnel Committee wanted or the township. We need a level 4 assessor by statute, and we also want a assessor who's, present in our office and not living in Grand Rapids trying to manage our office. So that just wasn't going to work. So we interviewed Polly last week as a committee, and we felt as a committee that we want to ask this board, or recommend that this board hire her as an assessor. We posted the position with a salary range of $105,000 to $122,000, and I believe it was the committee's position that we offer her the highest range of the salary due to her extensive experience.
Agree.
And so at this point, if the board were to support our recommendation, we would like to work with Ms. Cairns on creating a job offer, a formal job offer for her to review and consider, hopefully coming to work with us on our team and, working in our assessing department.
Do you need it in a manner of a motion?
Well,
Sure.
I guess
Molly, go ahead.
question. So we posted, how long did we have, and how many applications did we have in that posting period?
So it's been posted for roughly 10 days. We chose to post it on MTA's website, Michigan Assessors Association, Traverse Connect, and on our website. We
Okay.
chose not to do ZipRecruiter, Indeed, because you just get a bunch of automated people from different states.
Yeah.
And I've talked with 3 people who had interest, including Polly being one of them, to date.
I know Polly's very good. Worked with you before.
I also, we as a committee took time to follow up on references, and all of the comments that we received were positive, nothing negative at all.
Just a couple procedural questions. I'm the newest member, well, Lori and I both the newest 2 members of the board. I've seen in the past where the board would do interviews, so you're not recommending a board interview, just the personnel committee interview and move forward that way? Okay, I'm okay with that. I just wondered if that's.
Depending on what position it was
Yeah.
before it was a board interview.
okay.
Most of the interviews take place with the Personnel Committee
Okay.
alone.
Okay, good enough.
Well, and how many there are. I mean, if you have 10,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Right, exactly. And if you vetted some of those out based on commitment and
Right.
availability is probably the biggest thing too, so. Right.
Do we need that in a motion or just a recommendation?
motion.
I would like to make a motion that we hire Polly, is it Cairns? Cairns as our new assessor.
Support.
Motion made and supported to, I'll butcher
That
it.
dollar
Oh,
amount,
I'm
please.
sorry, I have to resend that. With a dollar amount, with a salary of $122,000.
Okay.
Is
You
that-
okay
is
with that,
correct?
Ma? You ok- That's pretty close to what we were paying our last assessor, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really close.
And you okay with that, support?
Okay.
Okay, motion
Yeah.
made and supported to hire Polly Cairns? Cairns. All right.
That's how I know
With
he
a
is.
salary of
Lots of-
$122,000, pending the, the acceptance of a job offer letter, so, any further discussion on that motion? Anything else? Is that good enough? Okay. Roll call.
Yeah, let's do a roll call.
Ann, do roll on that?
Sure. Schmuckel.
Yes.
Was it Lap?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You seconded, right?
No.
No,
Augustin
Molly
Alley.
did.
Molly seconded it.
Me too.
Schmuckel.
Yes.
Augustinelli.
Yes.
Lap.
Yes.
McCumber.
Yes.
Corn.
Yes.
L. McManus.
Yes.
J. McManus.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Welcome aboard.
Well, if you'd like to come up and introduce yourself to us. Some of us haven't met you, so,
Holly Cairns. As you probably know, I was the former city assessor, so I've got 15 years of experience with the city, and I'm still assessing. I work in Glen Arbor Township, and I've handled both equalization and assessing, and I also hold a real estate appraiser's license. I'm pretty excited about the opportunity, so
Excited to have you.
All right.
Me too.
Right.
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks for
much.
coming
Thank you
tonight.
kindly.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, with that, we are now at our next public comment. So our public is dwindling, but I will open up public comment and see if anybody has anything they'd like to come forward and say. Since Jennifer is not getting up, we'll go ahead and close public comment and move on to other business.
I have
Anything?
one thing in other
Yep.
business. And again, I said something to Jennifer, but Jennifer was nice enough to come to our Parks and Rec Commission meeting last night and talk about the Commons Trail. She answered so many questions for so many people, and I just want to personally thank you for taking the time and doing that. It helped a lot.
Okay, good. Thank you. Chris? Well, go ahead, Chloe.
Chris can go. You want me to go first?
No
Okay. I had sent out an email to everyone today, and it's okay if you didn't get it, but we're going to be doing Chris's 6-month review per his contract. And basically, it's a survey process that Amy Sell will do. It's included with them helping us hire him. So they are going to send in a survey to all the board members and then his direct people who work under him. So, but they wanted to know if there was any specific areas that you guys wanted to focus on for this evaluation. So I didn't know if you guys were ready to give me areas tonight, or if you want, I can send you the email to where to send it to. But we just want to make sure that we're asking the questions that you guys want him to be reviewed on.
Do we know
Like
what
it's
kind of
something-
questions they have on their survey?
They have like a standard, survey that they're going to give us to review. But if you wanted specific focus questions is what we can submit. So I don't know if any of you had time to think about it, or if you want, I can email you his email to add to the survey. If
Okay.
you'd prefer that.
Did you, is there a timeline on getting that back to them, or when
Basically, as soon as we do this, we can get started on
the survey?
the survey, which we just kind of want to do it around his 6-month anniversary date, which is the 28th. So there's not really a pressure timeline, but
6 months is flying by already.
No
It has.
kidding.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll just send you guys the email to send your
Okay.
focus topics to, and then they'll tailor it to that.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chloe.
And then you'll get a survey by email probably in the next couple weeks or so after they get it figured out, so.
All right. Did you have anything, Chris, or was that it?
Yeah, I just need trustee Korn and Schmuckel to give me your availability next week for a website committee meeting. So Monday or Tuesday, if you could just let me know, that would be great.
All right.
And then the public works tours, scheduling for the end of the week. Some may have already gotten invites to that. And then I'll work with the others for one that's going to occur next week. I'll just talk with you individually. Just wanted to mention that.
I'm free Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
All day Monday, Tuesday morning.
Monday morning, Tuesday morning?
No,
All day-
all day
all day
Monday
Monday.
or Tuesday morning.
Anything else? Is that it, Chris? Okay, the other thing, there's, as MTA, they were talking, I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad. It sounds like the next at least year, maybe 3 are gonna be here in Traverse City, I heard. Okay, so
Yay.
we won't have to travel, obviously, so there'll be quite a cost savings for rooms and all that. But I thought we maybe, give maybe some of our staff that doesn't have the opportunity to go to MTA very often, get them the classes and things they might be able to see if there's some interest, some staff that might want to go to that next year. We're going to save a lot of money, obviously, on hotel rooms and things that we're required to do to travel to it, but it's very good information, so might be something to consider. All right. All right, well, if there's nothing else come before the board, we'll be adjourned.